All right, it is 5:30. I'd like to welcome everyone to our November 9th, 2023 library board meeting. We'll call to order the board members. So let's see, Larry, are you here?
Apparently.
Tony, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Mandy, are you here?
Here.
And Alana, are you here?
Yes.
Perfect. We do have a full board members here. So first we'd like to approve the order. We look for approval of the order of the agenda.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Order of agenda approves. Next, which we had approved last month to start doing, we have public comment. And I didn't receive any notification of public comment.
I haven't either.
Okay, so we will have that as a standing part of our agenda for any public comment. Next, we'll look to do the consent agenda, including approval of minutes from last time, October's financials, and 2024 library closures.
I'll move
I'd
to
like-
approve. I'm sorry.
Well, I just, before we approve it, I had emailed Jenna about the closures. I just want to make a public comment, but I don't know when I do that.
Well, we need a motion to discuss it.
Okay,
So I've moved, and now we need a second.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Next, let's talk about any comments or questions.
I just want to make sure, since we had a big discussion about holidays before, that the reason we are closed the Friday after Thanksgiving, Jenna, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that's a city determined day off, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. I move
Okay,
to
any
approve the consent agenda.
Okay, and we have a motion, a second on the table. All
Oh,
those
yeah.
in favor, yep. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. All right, consent agenda passes. Next, we'll move on to new business. We have collection and database usage updates.
Okay, that's me. Let me share my screen here.
Does this need a motion to approve, or are we?
Nope,
or
this is
not?
just a report.
Thought so. Okay.
No action items are needed here.
And Tony, while she's pulling that up, I looked and we do not have any action items within our new business at this time.
Yeah.
Or Larry, sorry.
All right.
All right, so I am Ellen Rosso, and I am the marketing and communications specialist, and I'm back with just another collection and database use report for you guys. This report today is going to cover data through September 2023. So first we have collection development. Our team has added a little over 16,000 items to the collection this year, and we did just a little under that same amount. So we have a nice ebb and flow of items going through our collection. We have had 89 formal requests for items to purchase from patrons, and I'm happy to report that we still have no items have been challenged in our collection. Oops. For interlibrary loans, we have loaned out 1,104 items to our fellow North Dakota libraries, and we have borrowed 1,700 from those same libraries through our consortium. West Fargo patrons have also requested 254 items be sourced from outside of the consortium from other libraries nationwide. Our circulation stats continue to be impressive. Through September, West Fargo cardholders checked out a total of 151,223 items, and that is including physical and digital. We continue to see a demand for both physical and electronic materials, and they're both on track to hit some record highs by the end of the year. Books continue to be our most popular physical item, followed by DVDs, as you can see here. And then our most popular collection continues to be our picture books, which is then followed by adult fiction. And I just pulled some of
Ellen,
our
what's-
top.
Ellen, could you go
Sorry.
back to the previous slide?
Yeah.
What is the adult F at the far right of the screen? That one.
Adult fiction graphic novel, yes.
Okay. Is there a, so I guess the one above it, I would guess that is teen fiction graphic novels?
This one is, yep,
Yep.
teen fiction graphic novel.
Okay,
So, yep, they're all split out.
dandy.
A lot of
Nice.
different collections. All right, so then here, like I said, are just some of our top circulating physical items. You'll see where the Crawdads Sing stayed. That was there last time I did this report, as well as Colleen Hoover continues to be very popular among our patrons. For electronic circulation, Libby and Overdrive continue to be really popular with our patrons, and Hoopla is on the decline a little bit, which is good to hear. When folks are checking out our digital items, they usually opt for audiobooks. And then here are some of our top circulating digital items. Again, Colleen Hoover, people love Colleen Hoover. And then we had some kind of pop culture items with Prince Harry and Jeanette McCurdy also being at the top there. And then lastly, our database usage. So our database usage is down a little bit, but not by very much, as you can see here. Some of the ways people are using our databases are listed here. So for Udemy, top courses include coding, grammar, and 3D printing, as well as ChatGPT, which is interesting. And then our test prep tool, people are using that for help with things like nursing exams, the ACTs, and other college placement tests. Our state library database usage continues to be reported as way up. That's largely due to Ancestry Library Edition, which is a big cost saver for people and has been used very heavily by our patron base. I also just made a little pie chart here of some of the languages people are studying using the Mango Languages app, which also is a huge cost saver for people who may be wanting to learn a new language. So our top two are Spanish and then Norwegian.
I would note, because I'm a malcontent, that foreign language instruction at area colleges, well, at NDSU and at MSUM, are being cut.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, at West Virginia University, West Virginia's land grant university, the suggestion was made that any formal language instruction done by faculty could in fact be just picked up by an app. But it's encouraging to see that people are in fact interested in foreign languages and will pursue instruction on their own,
Mm-hmm.
even though it should also be a cornerstone of liberal arts education.
What is that count over on the left-hand side? Is that number of times it's been opened or used, or?
These are searches, which is, since they are databases, it's each individual like page of a course, basically. The way that the stats are combined, it can be a little tricky since there are a variety of different tools that are being used, but this is reported through the state, so.
Okay. It's not an easy question or answer.
No. And that is really all I had for that report today, but I am available for any more questions.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ellen. Are there any questions?
I think I would just jump in and point out, you saw how high our physical item circulation is. One of the things you might hear on the street is, what is the relevance of a physical library? Aren't people just accessing materials digitally? Well, yes, they are accessing materials digitally, but you can see that the bulk of our circulation is actually physical items.
Mhm. Thanks, Ellen, for the report.
Thank you.
As always, good information. Yep. Next, we have our director's reports, including the monthly impact report.
All right. So a couple things to go through. Since I started, we've been taking a look at how we're using the spaces in our building, and are we using them as efficiently as possible? Are there some small changes that we could make to maximize our use of our current space? So to that end, after talking with staff for a long time and just observing what's happening, I've been seeking a few quotes. One of them is to open up the wall between our two meeting rooms. It was noted by a staff member that 17 times so far this year, they have exceeded capacity in the meeting room for a program. This has resulted in overflow into the hallway, opening up a second meeting room, things of that nature. If we were able to just open up a movable wall, we would have that extra space available for the community that wants to attend our events. We've also looked at the space close to the circulation desk downstairs where we have our new materials behind that stairway. That's a little bit of an underutilized space. And by adding a door where the opening is facing the circulation desk and a wall on the other side, we could use that to create an additional meeting room or an office space. We are certainly at capacity for both of those things. Another item that I've been getting quotes on is how much would it cost to replace our service desk? Our current service desk with the big round design takes up a really large footprint on the main floor of the library. Staff have also noted that it's not the most ergonomic setup for them because customers aren't sure where to approach that desk. And so when they're helping a patron, lots of times they're, typing kind of turned to the side. It's also hard to approach for anybody in a wheelchair if you are of a shorter than normal height, and children. We do have the one cut out that is lower, but the depth of that desk space is such that the librarians actually can't reach across to grab books from somebody to check them out, or to help a child with a paper or something like that. So in looking at a possible new service desk to replace the one that the laminate is peeling off of it, it has some other issues as well. I'm looking for something a little bit more modular so that it could be rearranged in the future if our service model changes. If we were to move to a new space, we would be able to take it with us. It just gives us a lot more flexibility, and it would be more of a rectangular shape. So it would be easier for our patrons to know where to approach a librarian to ask their question. If we did replace the service desk due to the flooring that we have in the library, we would also have to replace the carpet, which I would say needs replacing anyway. It would be nice to go to a carpet tile situation. So if ever there were a major spill or damage, we would be able to just replace that tile instead of the continuous carpet that we have at the moment. So I'll be sharing more information on those items as I get those quotes in, and then you as a board can kind of decide what your priorities are, how much funding you want to put towards projects, and what you feel meets the needs of our community best. To that end, also, we have started the space needs assessment. At our last board meeting, you approved funding for that. We hope to be done by the end of the year. Very likely, the presentation to the board will take place our meeting in January instead of in December. So, but we'll get all of the work done and the report finalized, and then the actual presentation will be probably in January. Yeah, staff have been working hard on collecting all of that information. We've also been looking at some of our technology in the building and exploring to see if we want to swap out some things for something that might work better for us. One of those items would be our self-checkout. In the couple months that I've been working at the library, that self-checkout has been out of order many times. So we're kind of seeking what an alternative situation could look like. Hopefully something that if there were an issue, it would be easier to fix. Our print release station, we would love for our patrons to have the ability to pay with a credit card without having to have card fees to exceed the amount that, you know, that print is actually costing them. So one way we could do that would be to allow them to load money onto their library account with a card. So maybe you load $5, $10, and then you can just use that over time to pay for your printing. Our current machine, the coin processing unit, frequently gets jammed. Sometimes this is because people put inappropriate coins in there, or pennies, even though we say very clearly on there, please do not put pennies in. It still happens. Almost every coin machine I've ever seen like this has these issues. So we're trying to see if there's a better solution there. And the document feeder on our scanning station is currently down. So you can still flatbed scan individual pages at a time, but if you had like, you know, multiple pages that you wanted to run through, that aspect is down at the moment. So we're exploring to see if there's a better setup for us there. But scanning is still happening, printing is still happening. It just, we're looking for some efficiencies and some better setups. As far as our finances go, we attached the October financials in the consent agenda, but we are 69% expended for the year. I did a little calculating and talked to staff to kind of figure out where we're going to come in at the end of the year. Kind of ballpark range, we are looking at having about $140,000 left unexpended at the end of the year. 95% of that probably, the vast majority anyway, is just from not having the director position filled and some part-time positions filled for an extended period of time. Everything else on the budget is really close. And as far as staffing goes, I'm happy to report that those full-time positions have started. So Lexi Bennett was a part-time library assistant, and she has moved up to full-time. We're thrilled to have her make that move. And Jen Junkert is coming with great library experience and joining our team full-time as well. Today was Jen's first day, so congratulations to both of them. With that, we did have a part-time staff member leave, and then that other part-time position opened up when Lexi was moved up to full-time. So we have 2 part-time positions open at the moment, and we're reviewing applications for those. The application window will close on the 12th, and then we hope to interview right away and get those filled. Our physical item circulation was higher in October than the last 5 years. I think that's just incredible and really shows the growth of library usage by our community. And electronic circulation is in an all-time high, as Ellen noted earlier. We had 1,571 new library cards created. The vast majority of those were from West Fargo Public Schools students when those were entered. Our spine label project is almost done. They're on large print, and that's the last section. And a new collection item being released the end of November will be Storytime kits. These kits will be all the materials that you need to do a really quality story time. We're hoping our daycare providers in particular, maybe our preschool teachers, will be utilizing these, or even our homeschoolers. So each kit will have a theme and books and other materials to go along with that theme for a great story time. Our STEM programming has been really popular. Here's some pictures from the Spooky STEM event. Over 200 people attended that. The teen programs were great in October as well. The one I have pictured there was a pumpkin painting event. I happened to be at the library that night when that was happening, and the pumpkins that these teens painted were so creative. Each one was so different. It was really fun. Adults are loving our programs as well. In particular, they seem to be really liking our arts and craft events this fall. Watercolor painting was a good success, and intro to knitting was also a big hit. And the little red reading bus, if you've been to the library, you'll notice it's not in the parking lot anymore. That has been moved to winter storage. And we look forward to getting out into the community on that vehicle again this spring and summer. One more item that I didn't have a slide for was we had a really sweet community partnership with Pansy Plants, which is a local houseplant shop in West Fargo. They did a plant drive for us, and people donated plants for the library. Pansy Plants then kind of went through to get the healthiest choices and things that would work well in our location, and then repotted them up for us. So we have 20 new plants around the library, and I feel like it has just really changed the atmosphere. It feels much more homey with that addition. So thank you to Pansy Plants for your work on that and that great partnership with us. Any questions I can answer for you? No?
I don't think so. Thank you for those updates, Jenna.
Yeah. The impact report is usually something that we don't actually present. We just let you go through on your own, but if you want, I can pull that up as well.
I've looked through it, but does anyone else want to go through it here? I think we're good, Jenna. Okay, we have come to the end of our new business. I did want to, Jenna and I did want to just bring up, Jenna and I had a conversation about meetings in person versus virtually, like we're doing. At times, I think there's benefits to both. So I just wanted to bring it up in terms of if there's any strong feelings or opinions one way or the other as how we hold our meetings.
I could comment that throughout this meeting, I've been hearing everyone just fine, which is not happening at the meeting
Okay.
site.
Okay. Okay, that's good feedback. Thanks, Tony.
I guess for me, sometimes it's nice to have it this way, because then if I'm traveling, but I have a break, then I'm able to log in, which is nice. So.
Okay. Alana and Larry, do you have any feelings one way or the other?
I couldn't unmute myself. My only comment is that as long as it is easily accessible for the public, and it doesn't matter to me how, it's just most important that the public has access to it and it's crystal clear and easy for them to do so.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good feedback too.
I will inject from a staff perspective, as far as technical issues that we can avoid for recording and having people attend remotely. having the meeting fully virtual eliminates 2 or 3 issues that we've encountered in the past.
Okay. And Jenna, do you believe we need to have an action? Like, do we need action on this to change the location of our meetings?
I don't think so, because when we advertise the meeting, it's advertised as, you know, online or in person. But I
Okay.
think having some consensus from the board on what you would like going forward as far as time and virtual or in person would be great to direct our staff.
I heard positive consensus around as long as well, the positive consensus was it's accessible to the board members. People can hear. It's easy. It's doesn't have as many hiccups in terms of the technology pieces. I think the concern I heard was, you know, making sure that our public has access to it in a good fashion.
I was going to ask, is it likely that there would be a problem in that respect? Does anyone have any sense of that? 'Cause I'm
You know,
good with this way for the reasons I said. I mean, it's
Okay.
really nice not to have to strain to hear kind of parts of it and
Okay.
not hear parts of it and like, so this is, for me, it's much better.
And there's not a problem legally, right? Do we need to, no? So my opinion is that we continue to do it this way unless we hear feedback, and then we accommodate that feedback as quickly and as easily as possible.
Okay, I think that sounds like a great option for us, and just continuing to listen for feedback from the community to make sure that they do have access to these meetings. And I do know Jen and I talked about the difference between starting at 5 or 5:30. If there's any opinions on that. I know the last month we started at 5, and then our normal time is 5:30. So I didn't know if there was any interest in moving it to 5, if that works with, or if it works or doesn't work with people's work schedules or family schedules.
Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to weigh in.
Okay,
I'm hit and miss, but half an hour won't make any difference, so.
sure. So my opinion, sometimes the 5 o'clock is a little bit easier, just so then I don't, because I usually do this meeting just right next to work stuff. And so then I get home a little bit earlier, is just an opinion. I get home to my family a little earlier, but either way, the time works for me.
5 o'clock works for me just as easily or as difficult as 5:30. And I think it's the same as, you know, before, if the public isn't able to attend or,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, so I think that 5 o'clock is fine for me and that we accommodate if we need to.
Okay. Larry, you're good with that?
I am fine with it, yes.
Okay, so we'll move forward with 5 o'clock meetings held virtually. And then I think all of us as board members just need to be cognizant and listen to the public, making sure that they have access to these meetings. And if we hear anything different, to share it with each other and with Jenna.
And Jenna, if somebody does want to access a meeting and doesn't have access on their own, they could come to the library and the library would be able to help them with the technology to participate, correct?
Yeah, they could either, if they wanted to join on a public computer, or they could honestly just come and sit in my office.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for that discussion. Jenna, clear on kind of next steps for that? 5 o'clock virtual. Got it. All right. Well, we've come to the end of our agenda. I make a motion to end for the night.
Second.
All right. We got a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned, and have a great night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yep.